Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Untitled Sickos Project, where I'm switching it up a little bit. Normally I'm at my mother's house doing this, but today I'm at my father's house. What's the difference? God if I know. Anywho, welcome to the Untitled Sickos Project. I am Bears fan as always, joined besides four of my lovely co-hosts this time, not three. Um, Of course, let's get these people's names because their names matter.
Yes. Hello, I am Nickman. Um, if you are wondering, if you are just wondering, no, I am not connected to a certain football program that may or may not have been in the headlines this week because of NIL issues. So please do not ask me about that.
We'll be sure to ask you about it later on in the podcast. I'm Juggerbear. Good news is Yankees won the AL East because the Orioles sure didn't want that division. But unfortunately, we had to sacrifice the Saints for that, though. So, opening week Derek Carr meme is over.
Hello, I am the MaskedAura, and I should really eat a BLT, the B standing for just quit your job.
Now, it's
I
your
don't
job.
really have any. I don't really have an intro this time.
oh,
Well, I can say I was the victim to watching MB Darnold all of a sudden. But that's it.
And that is answer
that's
24. Anywho, as always, we start with a welcome mat. And, normally we would have talked about how the Chicago White Sox are officially the worst baseball team that's happened. But ironically, that's not the weirdest thing that's happened today. I almost got hurt at work by another person. And the story goes I'm 30 minutes getting ready for my shift to be over, for my sister to pick me up to take me to my father's. So I'm getting my stuff cleaned up. And then as I'm walking in, I'm seeing one of our managers get harassed by a customer. So I kind of put everything in the back and I go up to make sure my manager's okay. All of that is fine and dandy. The dude's panhandling, which like whatever, but like he starts like harassing my boss and says some things that I can't say on here. So then it's got to the point where cops had to arrive, then the cops escorted him away. So normally that would be the end of the story or whatever. However, that same guy found his way to our gas station, and then he started harassing people there. For me, I'm already at strike two with this guy because this is getting desperate. So I'm back out where I'm supposed to be doing my own work, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see him walking over to our liquor store. So, and he was not having it. He looked like he was going to do something. So, I ended up running after him and preventing him to go into our liquor store. Thankfully, the cops were right behind me before I could do anything else, and they took it over from there. He almost started to attack me, but then I think either some sort of sanity hit him that, hey, if I attack him in front of the cops, I'm probably not going to get off. But regardless, he was very aggressive, and as soon as he got all of that, he called me a ton of things, which is which I could probably list off, but I couldn't say half of them. However, I will say this now. This is now the second time in the month of September someone has called me the N-word, which is crazy because the fact that it's happened twice and I'm one of the whitest motherfuckers on earth is a crazy statement.
Maybe you're like a inverse Uncle Ruckus.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now listen here.
Oh God.
Oh
But
my.
TLDR here. I guess I could say this too. So he somehow found himself from, and obviously I'm not going to leak my location, but he went from like a fairly big city, like near the Quad Cities, to the place where I live, which is 2 hours away. And he was there in like the Quad Cities this morning. So in under about 10 hours, that man somehow found a way from the Quad Cities to where I live. And I'm just gonna say this, man. How? How? Regardless, I am safe. I am not harmed. I am doing relatively okay. The only thing that has harmed me is the Chicago Bears, and they have harmed my sanity. But we'll save that for later. Anywho, I think this is kind of due for this, but the Chicago White Sox.
God damn, do these motherfuckers suck. Holy cow, that I'm more impressed that they're probably gonna end up losing probably about like 122 games versus what they should have done is lose 126.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that the White Sox have a worse record, but the Angels are a worse team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing fun about them. It's just wasting Mike Trout and
They've-
not trading Shohei at the deadline.
They've had
How
two.
can Mike Trout not be traded, but Carl Anthony Towns gets traded? This is some bullshit.
Money. That's why.
No, I'm just gonna say with the White Sox, like, it's impressive how a team that, for many years has been a laughingstock outside of one season where everything finally came together, and then just the following year after, all hope was dashed immediately. Now, thanks to having all of this built up just to get one playoff win, you are now stuck in the history books as the worst baseball team of all time. And all I gotta say, as a Chicago sports fan, is it couldn't have happened to a better owner.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have happened to a better owner.
Jerry
All of
Reisendorf.
this. Jerry deserves.
You hate the Bulls. You hate the White Sox. I think you hate sports. I think you need to be fired.
He does.
But
I think there's a way to spell it out. There's a way to spell it out for this man. He might be old, he's probably senile, and he probably doesn't give a shit. But there's a way to spell it out for him. Sell the teams.
Agreed. Like.
you see, he can't sell the team because he doesn't know S. Because in order for him to know S, that would require him to have a soul.
He's. How about a spine? Dude, I'm telling you, if it weren't for Michael Jordan, Jerry Reinsdorf would be the worst owner in all of sports. And
That's not true. There are plenty of owners work.
We're like, not there would be, sure, but like, I think he would be the guy that should have sold teams a while ago. Because of it, like, think of it. The Bulls are known for one man. His name is Michael Jordan. His expectations that he placed not only on himself, but the franchise that he was a part of were high. He wanted to make sure that players were at their best every single day, right? Because when you went to play for the Bulls, you Michael Jordan was on your butt the entire time. He wanted to make sure that guys for his teams were playing at their best because he wanted to win championships, not second fiddle prizes. And those expectations have been replaced at the land of whatever the hell I just said.
Well, and it's also fitting that, when we bring up the Bulls, like, outside post Michael Jordan, outside of that, really the only great stretch the Bulls had was, the Derrick Rose years with other guys like Butler and Noah, all that stuff. But, like, once
Even
we
then,
bring
Derrick Rose retired.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up too, because Derrick Rose just retired, so felt fitting to bring that up, when talking about the Bulls here. But yeah, it feels very fitting that an owner like Jerry Reinsdorf now is known as the owner of the baseball team that was the worst baseball team of all time. Just fitting.
It's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. This is what the owner
By the way-
deserves. And do you want to know what the funny thing too? On top of everything, they said, "Hey guys, we need to
Cut the payroll.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cut the payroll."
Which,
Are
by
you
the way, that gives me a great idea. Noah, Juggerbear, we're gonna have to cut the payroll this year. Instead of being fed peanuts, we're going to have to cut you down to the cashews on the floorboards.
Aww.
Sorry guys.
Like,
know
we
what
don't
the
make the rules, man.
But yeah, you want to the most poetic part though about the White Sox and Tigers game and how it went is the fact that the Tigers lead announcer was Jason Benetti, and he was the lead announcer for the White Sox last season. He was the lead announcer for them a couple of seasons, and White Sox fans really loved his work. The only guy who didn't like his work was Jerry Reinsdorf, and that's why there was a pretty ugly fallout between him and the White Sox organization. So, it's such poetry. It is such poetry from the baseball gods that Jason not only got to call the Tigers making the playoffs for the first time in a decade, he also got to call it during the same game where his former team, the Chicago White Sox, set the record for being the worst baseball team of all time. That is karma right there, and Jerry, you can eat shit for that.
Eat shit and live, Jerry.
Yeah, 1,000%. That is. I hope we start seeing an eventual trend of bad owners, finally selling their teams. I hope we start to see that trend. I need to see that trend. It's
Especially in baseball.
it's for the sake of the sport. It's a sport that is such a relic because there's some slimy stuff that the Pirates did. Instead of paying somebody $200,000 for reaching the amount of plate appearances, they ended up DFAing the player. That is
No, that's why I still got the Pirates video on it as an idea, because it's like, I saw that and it's like, okay, you know what? This is still peak Pirates right here. Like, even with Paul Skeens, this is still peak Pirates baseball right here.
I really hope the Pirates do sell their owner, but not until they let Paul Skeens go to the Yankees. Then they can sell.
I mean, it's the same thing with Cincinnati. It's like, I even know with the Mariners fans, they say we have the worst owner in baseball. Oh, sweetheart, I don't even think our owner's the top 10 worst owner in all of baseball. That's how bad it is right now for owners in baseball. There are multiple owners that need to sell their teams. Multiple.
Definitely. Guys, I think Virginia Tech just beat Miami on a game-winning touchdown. A
No.
time expiring, game-winning touchdown. I think they just won.
Oh my God, Mario Cristobal did it again. Mario Cristobal did it again, baby.
Oh my God.
Nick, you need to stop me from saying what teams are the best team in the ACC for going forward. You need to stop me.
I was gonna say this. I was really surprised when Nick hopped on for the review this week. I didn't know he was gonna be on.
Sorry, Taegan. I needed some help because I had a tough week.
No, I get that. I was just surprised that Nick was all there. That's all.
Oh yeah, Nick's gonna be there.
To be fair, it was a perfect week for me to be here, given the whole UNLV stuff. I think it was a perfect week for me to make my appearance.
No, you're good.
They are looking at this, though. They're looking to see if the ball was moving and all that. I'm just waiting to see what happens here.
Before we dance on the grave.
Oh God, is this another Fail Mary? Is this another Fail Mary?
No! We don't need any more Fail Marys! Oh no.
Oh no.
Hey Taegan, who's EWU for your pick'ems last week? Was that Eastern Washington?
Eastern Washington?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured they lost. Okay. I'm just doing the pick'ems now because I'm behind. I'm just filling them out now. So that while we await the for what they tell us, week 3 of the NFL is in the books, and the murder rate of the Saints was peaceful for 2 weeks, and then
we get it, Luke. Your team won this week. You don't have to stop. You don't have to start flexing. Ugh.
Yes,
Skill
you're gonna
issue.
Make me cry on stream. Okay, I can't be humiliated.
It's just a skill issue. Win your games.
In all seriousness, I had a feeling the whole Saints thing was a mirage, though. Derek Carr's an old man. Same with Alvin Kamara. It was a fun 2 weeks, and hopefully we can rekindle some of that magic. But I still think we're going 9-9, especially now that our center is out for the foreseeable future, though.
Yeah, that's a big loss. I mean, 9-8 would always be the, most usual Saints result. As they are taking minutes to look at this. By the way, this is taking a good while.
Wow, because imagine if they get this wrong. This is. I want to laugh at my friend Jared if he lost this. Oh my goodness gracious.
Nah, but yeah. Wow.
Oh my God, they reversed it.
Wow.
Miami escapes?
Oh my, by the skin of their eyes, God, they reversed it.
Yeah, it was clear that was incomplete, right? Not some. Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not watching the game.
By the skin of their teeth, Miami survived.
That is a game I have to watch.
CFB shenanigans aside, you should go watch. You should go watch the week 3 and 4 recap after this video. Haha, chill moment.
Yeah, it'll be up tomorrow. You can wait till tomorrow for that. Yeah. Sorry. This is boy. Here's a piece of advice. If you ever have your friends saying, "Hey man, you really need to order a BLT," The B in BLT stands for just quit your job. You should just do it. Save yourself the headache. Because, oh my god, this week was so rough. This week was rough. It was probably the roughest week I've had in a while. But I pray to the Lord that it gets better or I win the lottery. Either way, I benefit. Yeah, let's talk about, what was it? Did you guys
We
do
have to start with we have to do the Thursday night football game first.
Okay, I didn't know if you did that on Saturday.
No, we don't do those unless it's we just don't do those, man.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
wasn't,
we'll just make
I
it
wasn't,
quick.
I wasn't here, that's why.
We'll just make the Thursday night game quick between Patriots and Jets. I mean, Jets, this is what happens when you have an actual quarterback to throw the ball for you. This is what happens. And New England, you're scrappy, but it only gets you so far. Case in point, this game.
Just to simply put it this way, New England, have fun going 5-12 this season. It's better than your expectations of 3-14.
Yeah, and be thankful that Jacoby Brissett is there to take all that carnage and all that sacrifice so that Drake May doesn't have to.
I still think that's the funniest
Drake May is
thing.
dying behind the pocket. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is dying behind the pocket for the Patriots' sins.
His sins.
But
Please forgive them, for they do not know what they did.
You know, the Jets knew. The Jets knew.
Mm-hmm. They knew big time. They knew big.
So,
Like, it's good to
what is the first-
it's good to officially see the Patriots just being done. It's good.
Yeah.
It warms my
The
soul.
only problem is they gave their evil to Kansas City.
Yeah.
This is how these deals usually go.
Yeah.
you don't want Tom Brady anymore? Good news, you don't have Tom Brady anymore. By the way, did you hear about this Patrick Mahomes guy?
Yeah, he's pretty good at tossing the rock.
You shoot real good.
I'm Patrick Mahomes and I shoot real good.
But yeah, moving on to games that are funny. Giants Cleveland. Can I let's just say this regarding, because we're not going to go over Thursday night football. In the week 3 mindsets, Cleveland, your season's over. Lock it up. Close the stadium. There's no need to play any more games. It's over.
America needs more sadness, though. The factory must keep churning.
Hey, if you think of
They
it
let
this
Daniel
way,
Jones
we
have a
haven't
great game.
we haven't had a throwback in ages, and this is an excellent throwback. You know how long I've been waiting for a throwback for the Browns to be, you know, the Browns again? Been waiting for decades for that. And now, the fact that the Browns are the Browns again warms my cold, black heart.
The fact that they made Daniel Jones look as great as he did in this game is hilarious. It is hilarious how low Daniel Jones looked in this game.
I mean, it also helps that he has had Malik Neighbors to throw to.
Yeah.
That always helps.
But yeah, I will say this though: the Giants, not Thursday night football side, they might go 6-11.
Which is an improvement from the scheduled 3-14.
Yeah.
True.
It is, but no, I think I feel like the Tank Bowls we know who the bad teams are, but like
We don't
the winner, I have no idea yet.
Yeah.
The
if I
leader
can get
of
my-
the poll is the Titans and Jags. They're the only teams not to have won a football game this season.
Yeah, we'll
It's-
get
You
to
know-
them.
We'll
in
get
a
to
little bit.
those. We'll get to those. We'll definitely
You know
get
what-
to those.
You know who I think's gonna be it, and this is gonna come out of left field. I think it's gonna be the Bengals.
No. Hey,
No,
no.
look at
Not
Joe Burrow. They can win some football games.
Not yet, but I will say though, yeah, gonna be something getting to watch Deshaun Watson this Sunday here in Vegas. Gonna be something.
Oh, that's another injury bowl this week, by the way.
Yeah.
Cleveland has
Raiders-
nobody on offense, and the Raiders have nobody for a football team.
Yeah, we'll get to the Raiders soon, but anyways, what game should we talk about next?
Let's go Eagles.
Well-
Saints.
Eagles and Saints. Oh, yes.
Jalen Hurts, good at football. 3 for 29.
No, he's not.
Delicious passing yards.
I'm gonna be real. I still think Jalen Hurts is overrated.
He is, though, but he's still like a top 10 quarterback in the league. Certainly better than Derek Carr most of the time.
I just find it
I-
funny. This game pisses me off because, god damn it, I wanted to see Nick Sirianni eat shit for this game because, oh boy, like, when I was looking at my timeline during these games, the two things that I saw the most were the slander of Shane Waldron and the slander of Nick Sirianni. And let's not lie, they were both well-deserved, but because I got to watch the Eagles-Saints game here in Vegas, I got to see the Nick Sirianni masterclass in full viewing. Like, the fact that, you know, it's fourth down with, like, 15 seconds remaining in the first half, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do a big brain move and not take the points to end the first half, and go for it. And what do you know? You fucking turn it over on downs. And you have no points, and you're down 3-0 to end the first half. So what does Nick Sirianni think before going back out there and going back on offense for the Eagles going back on offense in the second half? I'll fucking do it again. Because they literally did the same damn thing again on the following drive to start the second half. Where it's like
I'm
4th
gonna-
and 3. Yeah, you want to say something, Taegan?
I was just gonna say, my entire thought process throughout both this game was Jalen Hurts has came a long way from basically a potential MVP winner to a guy that might not even be the third best quarterback in his division.
All right. No, no.
Okay,
Okay.
it's not that bad.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Going back to this, though. Let's get back on the Sirianni slander here. Going back to this. It's 4th down and 3 at the 34. And I'm sure every Eagles fan is like, for the love of God, please just take the points, Nick. But Nick's like, no, I'm going to try it again on 4th down from 3 yards this time instead of 1. Because why not? And what do you know what happens? They go shotgun and Jalen Hurts gets sacked. And I got to give credit to Fox here for what they did before that play happened. Because right before that play happened, they showed these two Eagle fans in the crowd that were just screaming like mad. They were screaming their lungs out at Nick Sirianni, like, take the damn points, Nick! Take the damn points! And the other one screaming like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'm actually convinced Nick Sirianni lost his mind during that moment. But yeah, this was a really ugly game. This was a game where it's like, okay, who wants to lose this game less? Like, this is basically that kind of game. And, Saquon Barkley, a high-end talent moment, came to save the day for the Philadelphia Eagles and put an end to what was a very, very ugly football game.
Speaking of that high-end talent, he was the only 2 touchdowns he got there. One on a 65-yard run, and the other on that 4-yard run there with the 2-point conversion. Otherwise, they didn't even have a field goal.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Saquon Barkley, to this day, he's done so much for the Eagles. Like, without him, I think they're probably potentially 0-3.
Oh, they'd be 0-3 without him. I agree.
Like, this will be another classic blunder by the New York Giants. He was offensively your best player. Pay up. You chose not to, and I can't wait to have the Eagles play the Giants and have Barkley just have the most excellent revenge game known to mankind. Because the Giants picked this. They chose this.
Can I say this? I feel like the Eagles might be the third best team in their division. I don't think they're better than the Commanders, and I don't think they're better than Dallas.
No, I'm not confident in Dallas right now. I'm just not.
I'm not confident
with
in
how
any of them.
Here's a take I'm going to make right here. I don't think there is a best team in the NL East. I think there's a least worst. All four of them suck. Maybe the
no
black, but none of them have impressed me.
Yeah, I love my favorite NL East team, the Dallas Cowboys.
But like I will say this though, like that division should not exist. We might have another tank division on our hands.
No.
If Washington decides to, I don't know.
It's too early, Taegan. It's too early.
I'm saying we might. Chill. I'm saying we might. I'm not saying we do.
I've been
The Eagles
traumatized.
in particular really grind my gears. They look like they're trudging through molasses every single game. They're lucky they're 2-1. They could potentially be 0-3.
Yeah, that is true.
But
Nick
to get on
Sirianni
to
should get ready to get fired very soon.
But to get on to another game with some interest, let's talk about Titans Packers. Good game for Malik Willis, bad game for Will Levis.
What is Willie Calhoun doing? And he's got the pieces, but the results aren't showing.
Can we just say this too? I think Matt LaFleur should be, and this isn't. I don't want to hear some pagan stop with the hot takes. Matt LaFleur is too OP. We need to fire him because he's too good for the NFL. He needs to coach somewhere else. He needs to stop coaching one of my most unliked teams.
Taegan, that just sounds.
I hate that he coaches. I hate that he coaches the Packers. I don't think that's an irrational take for a Bears fan like us to have.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair take for us to have. But I also agree he's a great coach. I think he's more than shown enough that, hey, I am a great coach here. And I don't know if I've ever seen Titans fans more depressed in their lives right now. And I can't blame them because product stinks. This product really stinks. And the fact that I think the funniest thing of all of this, so funny about how bad this game went for the Titans, is just knowing how bad Will Levis has been to start the season. The fact that, that may have been his. Yeah, the fact that was probably Will Levis' best game of the season so far, and it was still that bad. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Mayo man. It's looking really bad, actually.
He's looking like he's gonna be playing for. He looks like the next fucking Blake Bortles. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, but Blake Bortles kept getting way too many chances.
Don't forget, we're gonna have to watch this man on Monday Night Football this week.
It's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait.
Anywho, Jordan Love comes back this week. Man, the Packers really suffered. Man, it must feel so bad to have to worry about a QB for 2 weeks.
Skill issue.
Truly the worst.
I am so sorry, but like,
It's a skill issue anyway.
it's a skill issue. Yeah. Let's do Vikings versus Texans, and oh boy.
I think we should let Noah start this off, so that way he can get
I
his
want to talk about
frustration.
I want to talk about the discipline first and foremost. This happened with the Bears too. I don't know what's going on with Houston, but the amount of laundry that's been flying in their face has been god awful, man. In field goal range with a chance to strike and get back to within a score against the Vikings. Back to back to back false starts that put them out of field goal range and force a punt. That has been the epitome of the Texans these past few weeks. It nearly cost them the game against the Bears too. Not to mention that Stroud just stunk today. He didn't have a really good game. He threw a tipped interception and then he threw another interception. Davis Mills was honestly a little bit better aside from that one touchdown drive Stroud had. It's the first time in a while the Texans really got flat-footed and looked like themselves from the old days when they were really bad. I got caught in for a loop on how good Sam Darnold actually was. You have to give credit to the Vikings coach. He has always been really good with quarterback. He's been really good with quarterback play. First Kirk Cousins and now Sam Darnold.
I will retract my statement on Kevin O'Connell for now. You know what? He's making Sam Darnold look good. I will retract my statement. So I will admit that that was a classic Taegan hot take for now. I'm still waiting for him to do something. But you know what? I will give him credit. But before that, I'll let Nick say what he wants to say. Then I have something I feel is important to say.
I just love how, for as much as they are, yes, they are a division rival, but obviously praise got to be given to the Vikings for, just how how much of a great game they played today. Like offensively, Darnold had a great game. Aaron Jones had a great game with the run game, and that signing's been looking very productive for the Vikings so far. And the defense just played amazing. Defense had an excellent game. Shut down the run game, shut down CJ Stroud, got 5 sacks out there. Brian Flores cooked up a masterpiece out there. And yeah, the Vikings, I mean, how long this lasts remains to be seen, but they're 3-0 right now, and they're playing as good a football as you could have asked for, given how, things were looking in the offseason. They're doing as well as you could expect them to be doing.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this. I think the Houston Texans have looked like a rather weak team so far going into this season. I think they're starting to get a little bit overrated. Granted, their loss came to a good team in the Vikings. However, I want to say this. The fact that the Colts and Bears games were as close as they were, I think is saying a lot about Houston this year. I'm not saying that the coaching is bad or anything like that, but what I'm saying is I think we might have overrated Houston just a fair bit. They might not exactly be ready for Super Bowl time. However, that's not to say I don't think they'll make a run in the playoffs this year, but I just want to bookmark this. This team is struggling. And if next week they don't show a very impressive performance on both the offensive and defensive side, I'm going to start to have more questions about them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, regarding the Texans, it feels like for the first 3 games, I felt like they did play well against the Colts, granted more so offensively. I thought that was their best game by far. Bears game was definitely more of a struggle for them, and of course, Vikings game they just got dismantled. But the way I see it with the Texans, I do feel there's a little bit of, it definitely feels like there's been some early season sleepwalking with these first 3 games from them. And obviously, when I use that term, it's something where it's like, okay, this is an early season trend, and teams, after this, they start to get their shit together. But obviously, it's something that you gotta, see actually happen. And I feel like a great test for the Texans to, get back on their feet and really look more like more of a of the team we saw last season this week against the Jaguars, who are well coming off a lot of bad things, would be a perfect time for Houston to show that. And I think this Sunday will definitely be a good chance for the Texans to silence some of their doubters.
Well, the thing is, too, it's just CJ Stroud hasn't played bad, but like, where's Tank Dell been? He
Yeah.
was like, he was one of the guys that are supposed to be like, oh, he's going to be a potential like guy to look out for in the future. Now Tank Dell's just he's kind of eh.
Yeah, and he's also injured now too, so that's not ideal. But yeah, Vikings dismantled the Texans. Great performance from them. Would love to see if they can do that against the Packers, because that'd be very satisfying.
True.
But anyways,
And like,
given we've kind of been focusing on the NFC North, Taegan, do you think it's time we talk about the game?
Yes, but Taegan, before you do, can you DM me the 2 picks you want for this week for the NFL, and then I'm just gonna post it all in the group chat.
oh god, man, I'm just the Bears have me slightly annoyed. I'm just you go ahead, Nick.
I'll handle the segment from here. I'll try and
No,
handle
I'll
this.
hop in a bit. I need to I
Yeah,
need
that's
to
fine.
gather my thoughts.
Yeah, that's fine. You mentioned the word annoyed, and I think that's a good way to describe it, because I'm still not at I'm not fully concerned about the whole team. I'm more concerned about things like line, play calling and run game and all that. But in terms of the whole team, no, I'm not there. But I am definitely annoyed by, having to see what I saw, where for as ugly as the Bears did play against the Colts, the fact of the matter is they were 1 yard away from being 2-1. You were 1 yard away on multiple chances, by the way, to get that 1 yard, and failing to do so. You were 1 yard away from getting a touchdown in the first half, and I know some people have said things like, well, they should have let Caleb at least throw it once there, or, they've said that, and I agree, you should have at least tried that, but I think everyone has the same thought about the Bears not converting on that 4th and goal at the 1. Why the hell do you not give the ball to Roschon Johnson? Like, why do you not give the ball to the guy who's been getting you the most yards on the run game so far, and is, without question, your most powerful back? Why would you not give the ball to a guy like Roschon Johnson, who will get you 1 yard? He is a powerful running back for a reason. And that was definitely a moment that just so freaking pissed me off. Like, it was so infuriating watching
Well,
that
not only
moment.
well, it's not only that too, but it's the fact that the Bears have already done this twice this year, where they put themselves in situations to win the game and they don't do it. I get this team's young and it's gonna take some time. But like, come on, man. The Bears
Yeah,
have been so frustrating so far this season that, like, DeAndre Swift shouldn't be starting. Nate Davis should not even have an NFL contract in hand. And, like, I get Shane Waldron has, like, I get Seahawks fans hate Shane Waldron, but he's still an upgrade from Luke Getsy. He's going to be fine, but, like, I can't stand. This has been the most frustrating start to a season I can think of. The offense didn't click until the second half, and we were and that's when they had to. It's
Yeah, I
just,
mean, I will say this. I will say, yes, it was in the second half, but I will say Caleb got things going. He did get things going in the second half. Probably the best half he's played this season was that second half. And Romo Dusney had a great. I'd say Romo Dusney was probably our best player on offense without question. He had a breakout game today. He also got a touchdown, which wouldn't be surprised if him and Caleb are still sharing that football. And I gotta say, it was refreshing to see Cole Kmet get involved again. It's clear that Caleb likes throwing to him, and with how reliable Kmet is at catching footballs, like it's something they should definitely explore more of, because getting that young chemistry between a young quarterback and a reliable tight end and Kmet, that's going to be very important. We should keep doing that. So I was fine with the offense in the second half, but just how bad that first half was offensively, and the fact that you just could not take advantage of the opportunity that was given to you, which I feel like this opportunity, the fact that they didn't take advantage of it, was a lot more egregious than the Sunday night football game against the Texans. Because if you get 1 yard, you win the game. Like, literally, all you had to do was get 1 yard, and you're 2-1. But alas, that's not what happened. And I think what pisses me off the most about this game isn't, well, outside of the, 1 yard failure, is the fact that the Bears did everything right against Anthony Richardson. They completely neutralized him. Like, Richardson had a god-awful game out there. Like, this was just another game where I feel like, Anthony Richardson just played terrible. And honestly, if Joe Flacco was out there, chances are the Colts probably would have won by double digits. But of course, that wasn't the case, and Richardson just had a terrible game. Now, he did bring up Nate Davis, which I think is worth mentioning, because I saw the report earlier and I made some thoughts. Look, I hate to put a lot of the O-line blame on a single person, because there are guys on this O-line like Tevin Jenkins who are a lot better than we have seen them, be this season to start. We know he can play better. I expect him to play better than he currently has. And I'm sure Darnell Wright is another guy that falls into that. But hearing the stuff about Nate Davis really pisses me off, because, yeah, it really seems like the bullshit that Nate Davis was pulling in training camp is a part of the reason that the Bears' O-line has looked so bad to start the season. It's looked so bad because the chemistry is so off, and a lot of that is because Nate Davis decided to be a lazy bum this offseason.
Nate Davis is one of the worst Bears signing in recent memory since Trey fucking Burton. Keep in mind, guys, the Bears signed Trey Burton because he threw a pass in the Super Bowl to Nick Foles. Remember that? He's so gonna fix the Zach Miller hole at tight end. Remember, everyone? God, I hated that signing as soon as we got it. Back on topic, the Bears are stuck in an infinite void of, they don't know what they want to be, and they're way too young to overreact yet. But I'm already starting to feel a bit of my hope dwindle about this team, man. Our defense is rock solid as hell, but if Caleb Williams isn't gonna play to his top form, I don't think we're going to make it too far. He should have a good week this week. I'm expecting 0 INTs out of that man against this Rams defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I'm just hoping. I just want to see, like, because we saw a good first half against the Texans, and we saw a strong second half against the Colts. I just want to see when he will have that full, that fully good game where it's just he plays like from start to finish. He just has a consistently solid game. And if that's something that can happen this week, great. I would love to see that. I would hope to see that. But it's just, it's just something. It's something you'd want to see.
yeah. Well, moving
Well,
on to
I want to say a couple things, if you don't mind. I
go ahead.
And I think I've echoed this. I echoed this the last year. I don't think the Bears have the right coaching staff for this current core. I don't think so. This team, this organization is too defensively minded, and they're trying to force an identity that they're just not. I really hope they can turn this around. I think it's week 3. I think it's probably like the biggest overreaction that I've ever said. And, come middle of November, Caleb Williams is going to start balling out. And then it's going to be like, see here, I told you got nothing to worry about. But it hasn't looked good. And my other question to Bears fans is how high are your expectations are for a team with this current core that is still yet to make the playoffs?
Look, I'm gonna say this now because I feel like I have to say this to everyone. The Bears went 7-10 last year with some of the worst Justin Fields played I've ever seen. The fact of the matter is, this team is a playoff team because you basically upgraded at every single position. You did not downgrade at a single position. You either stayed the same or upgrade. The fact of the matter is, the Bears should be playoff contenders. They should be 9-8. They should be 10-7 by the end of the season. That's expectation. And the fact of the matter is, Caleb shouldn't be 7-10 in his first season if he's all that cracked up to be. Yes, I get growing pains happen in the NFL. I completely understand it. But Caleb Williams is an infinitely more talented quarterback than Justin Fields. He should easily be able to take this team in his first season to the playoffs. Win a playoff game, that's a different story. But he should be able to take this team to the playoffs.
I just think though, like, you mentioned how, week 3, now it's gonna be week 4 and all that, but it's just worth remembering, the Bears went 7-10 last year, and that was after probably one of the worst 4-week starts to a team I feel like the NFL has ever seen, and that's just something worth noting because that's still in the back of my head where it's like, this is not the start that I wanted. Even though I had us starting 1-2 in the predictions, I did have the Bears starting 1-2 this season. I wish it wasn't this ugly, but it's 1-2 regardless. It's on track with my predictions. I just think though, the fact that I just think back, it's like, oh, this is the worst start I've seen to this team since last season. Because I'm just like, it's just like I feel like it's a little more ease on me because it's like I don't like seeing how ugly we're playing. I don't like seeing how hard this team has been to watch. But also it's like, well, look on the bright side. At least our defensive coordinator isn't making headlines for certain reasons. At least we're not, hopefully not blowing a 21-point lead to the Broncos. But obviously I still want to see things be better than they currently are, but it's like, okay, this isn't worst case scenario. I've seen worse before. This is around the time, week 4, we're approaching the quarter way of the 2024 NFL season. This is around the time where you need to start making a bit more progress. And against a wounded team like the Rams, where their defense is shredded due to injuries, their O-line is basically a hospital O-line right now. Yeah, this is a perfect time to take advantage of that opportunity. And that's something they got to do. I mean, I'm interested in seeing how the offense looks with Roshan Johnson starting. I know Nate Davis will be on the bench again, which I'm glad to see. And Matt Pryor didn't look that bad last week. He looked better than Davis at least. So, yeah, just hopefully there's a time for a strong game. This would be a perfect time for that.
Also, too, I'm so tired of the Matt Eberflus isn't a good coach thing that's going on right now. He is a fine head coach. You can't blame the guy when he's had an actual NFL roster for a singular season.
I mean, my
Dan
thing
Campbell.
is
Dan Campbell went. No, you're good. Dan Campbell had a 3-13-1 record his first season. Matt Eberflus, and he didn't have a team at all. Matt Eberflus went fucking. He went 3-14 in his first season, but everyone's like, oh, Matt Eberflus is on the hot seat because he's he's not calling the plays right, and it's like he's made some bad challenges this season, but the fact of the matter is he's a good head coach. He's not great, but he can get you somewhere. And Matt Eberflus should be with this team for the next couple of years, because if they fire him just because Caleb Williams doesn't produce this season, that's dumb. That's doing
It might be the
Bears
right
shit.
move, though.
No,
here's
it's
my
not.
thing. Hold on, let me
100%
talk. Here's my thing. I don't think Flus is as bad as some people make him out to be. I think last season, seeing how the Bears turned around after such an awful start, it's like, okay, there's something here with him. I think a lot more of the problems this season have been less him and more the offense and how Spain's the chemistry, how the play calling's looked. I think Flus has done exactly what he needs to do defensively. It's just, I mean, the reality is with a team like the Bears, the more, with how many eyes are on this team, having Caleb Williams as your quarterback, more pressure will be placed on him if things, don't go, don't go well. And granted, we'll say, obviously, I'm not gonna say things aren't gonna go well, but I do feel like, if things don't go according to plan, then yeah, there's gonna be more pressure placed on him. But I will say, I don't think Flus has been exactly the issues that the Bears have seen this season. I feel like a lot more of it has fallen on Waldron, in my opinion. But that's just the way I see it personally.
Again, and I just mostly say this too. I would rather have a Matt Eberflus right now than a fucking Doug Peterson or a fucking goddamn Nick Sirianni. Matt Eberflus is the perfect mid-tier head coach. He's fine. And the fact of the matter is, you want to know what the Bears have done in the past? They've moved on the second year after they drafted the rookie quarterback. You know what this team needs? It needs stability. Even if Matt Eberflus doesn't work out during his tenure, you still need to have him for some sort of stability for Caleb Williams. So that way he's not going through head coaches like Baker Mayfield did, or how Josh Rosen did, or Kyler Murray did, or any of that. The fact of the matter is he shouldn't be fired. He should be on this team for the next 2 to 3 years. If not for the fact that Caleb Williams doesn't have to worry about learning a new damn playbook every single year. But moving on to a more funny thing, Broncos Buccaneers. You got Bo Nix. Moving on.
The only thing I can say about this game is that I think Sean Payton just loves playing the Buccaneers. That's the reality.
The Buccaneers make football worth living.
Yeah, basically.
Agreed.
That's my only takeaway. The Sean Payton still owns the Buccaneers. That's my only takeaway.
After that, we have another really boring game in Chargers Steelers. Justin Herbert did get hurt, but like at the same time, this is the most 20-10 game of all time. Who was surprised? Absolutely no.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not surprised. I mean, Herbert's not looked 100% this season, and the fact of the matter is that they're going to be down some guys against the Chiefs. Not a great sign for the Chargers heading into that. I mean, credit to the Steelers. This defense, I say, the Steelers defense definitely looks for real. Like I know some people may say, well, they were playing bad opponents their first 2 games, but it's like, no, I think this game really showed this Steelers defense looks really, really good. I mean, they completely contained the run offense, and given how Herbert's been, looking like that was basically all the Steelers really needed to do to keep this game in check. And, Fields had a fine game, and yeah, that's all the Steelers really needed to do to get to 3-0. And obviously, there's a lot of hopium right now with the Yinzers, and particularly Tree going full Yinzer mode.
Steelers got Super Bowl! Woo!
Anywho,
Yinzer overconfidence, because I got a buddy of mine up in Pittsburgh, and he's as you'd expect.
I mean, no matter what, the Steelers are one of the best teams in the NFL with TJ Watt. If TJ Watt ever is hurt for a period of time, the impact that he has on that defense is greatly missed. It is a very noticeable difference to when he's on the field versus when he's not playing. Huge difference. He carries this team more than people will give him credit for.
Oh yeah, and it also helps when you have a. It also helps that, and I brought this up last week about Fields. Like Fields is still he's still a very flawed quarterback. But you want to know something? You know what the Steelers? Fields is I would describe as inconsistently average. You know what the Steelers quarterbacks before Fields were? Either washed or just pure dog shit. And that's what you had with washed up Big Ben and Kenny Pickett. So it must be refreshing for the Steelers defense, especially having TJ Watt, that hey, we don't have to worry about our quarterbacks being Kenny Pickett.
I also want to say that Arthur Smith, even though he had a terrible head coaching tenure as the Falcons, he was quite a good offensive coordinator for the Titans back in the day. And I feel like he is still a solid offensive coordinator in his own right. And if he isn't, then he's definitely better than what Matt Canada was with his play call.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Anywho, we have the Panthers versus the Raiders, which I feel like all I need to do is this when it comes to my opinions about that game.
Yeah, I think why am I blanking?
Kind of screwed.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young can't play football at the NFL level.
I think Bryce Young would go. I think Bryce Young would go hard in a developmental role in Denver after Bo Nix doesn't pan out.
And I mentioned this to Nick when we were doing the recap. If you're the first overall pick and you're the Carolina Panthers, what do you do?
Quentin Ewers, first overall, next pick.
Agreed, but dude, Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. The Saints can get Travis Hunter second overall or something. I don't know.
Travis Hunter, the dude is this. I see him do ridiculous things on Saturday, and then he just ups the ante the next week.
Okay, but I can say the same thing about Joe Alt because Joe Alt's clearly the best player out of that entire draft last year, and he should have gone first overall. But Caleb Williams existed, so Joe Alt just kind of gets pushed to the side. So it's the quarterback market, baby.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say, and I said this regarding, in the upcoming episode, for the college football recap. It's it's really gonna depend on who's the number one pick, who's got the number one pick, how desperate are they, and how does this quarterback draft class shape up? Because there's still a lot of questions with this quarterback draft class, and well, simply put, especially with how there are questions with them. I mean, right now I have no question, I have no doubt that Travis Hunter is the best player in this draft class right now. Like, it's very clear he's the best player in the upcoming draft class. It's just really going to depend on, well, what's the situation for insert team here that has a chance at taking him, and is something like a quarterback situation so bad for them that they basically have no other choice but to say, okay, you might not be the greatest quarterback prospect, but screw it, we gotta try something here.
So basically, the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Panthers have won a game, and
Mhm.
throws a wrench into things. I mean, we've seen it, right? We've seen stuff like the first big game that all scouts are gonna that are gonna run through this game with a fine comb is Alabama and Georgia this weekend. Like you got Jalen Milroe, who it's been relatively a quiet season, but you also have Carson Beck. That's just he hasn't been outstanding.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be one of those games where we go through a very fine comb, and we'll know who we'll have a better idea. And even then, if they don't have a good game, like the greatest, they don't play their absolute ass out, they still have an opportunity, thanks to these two teams being both ranked incredibly high, and the fact that very likely that even if you do lose this game, you still have a reasonably strong chance at making the CFP.
Especially with the 12-team format, though, it's not unreasonable to see them both play each other again later in the year.
Even for the SEC championship.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
Yeah, it is going to be even if you're not a fan of college football, this is going to be anytime you see Alabama and Georgia, it is must watch TV. It is going to be an amazing atmosphere in Tuscaloosa, and I can't wait for some good old football between these two teams.
While we're on
And
college football, just before we move on, UCF Colorado today. Absolutely devastated I couldn't get tickets to the game, though. But
is that in Boulder?
no, that's in Orlando.
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 How are they especially with the hurricane that just
Orlando is fine though.
Okay.
So it was mostly a problem for the Big Ben. So if it's, I'm not sure if the Gators were playing at home today though, but if they were, then they might have had, not today, but this week. Hang on, let me pull it up here.
Same thing with FSU. If they would have played in FSU, the game would have been canceled.
Yeah, Florida didn't play this week though, but if they did, the game probably would have been canceled because Gainesville got hit a good amount though, so not sure if they have power up there, but
Tallahassee, is it? Tallahassee, Florida? Tallahassee, sorry.
Tallahassee.
They got completely destroyed.
Yeah.
So I thoughts and prayers to
Florida's
everybody
taking
affected by Hurricane Helena.
Yeah.
I hope at least if you are impacted, that this weekend there's stuff games like this that can just take your mind off of what happened.
Yeah.
I will say this though. Juggerbear, I did want to congrats you on winning the undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship from Hurricane Helms this week.
Bro, I didn't do nothing though. All right, where I am, it was kind of breezy. We got one squall line though. I'm on the complete opposite coast.
Yeah, still. But
Yeah.
So, should I say anything about the Raiders? Should I say anything because I
They
got to
lost to the
watch this game.
Andy Dalton-led Panthers, which
Yeah, they
kudos
still
Andy
not
Dalton
beating Andy
though.
Dalton. Yeah, they're still not beating Andy Dalton.
disappointment couldn't even put into words how Raiders fans are feeling.
Yeah, that's without question the loudest boos I've heard for the Raiders since they went to Vegas. Cause yeah, that was a disgusting showing out there. Like I know it was 36-22, but trust me, it was 33-7 in the fourth quarter. Like the Panthers freaking dismantled the Raiders in a way that Panthers fans haven't seen their football team do in a long time. Like this was the first time the Carolina Panthers had won a road game since Tom Brady was still playing football. So like it's good lord. I mean I know the Raiders expect the unexpected with the Raiders, but like man, this is why I felt like my prediction about the Raiders early in the season was they're gonna be frustrating to themselves, they'll also be frustrating to opponents. Yeah, that applies very well to this, because they are as frustrating to themselves as they can be frustrating to other opponents. And this week, they decided to be so frustrating to themselves because the defense laid an egg and the offense just completely didn't show up. And now it's a lot worse because Max Crosby and Devontae Adams are going to be out against Cleveland.
And I want to add to that too is there was a line that said Antonio Pierce said, "There's a lot of guys that made business decisions at this game, so we'll have to make some business decisions too." And that did exactly what? Like, does Antonio Pierce, he went for somebody, they went for smoking Cuban cigars in the locker room to this?
I mean, what I'll say is, people had their suspicions on who he was talking about, and for a little hint, this guy may or may not have appeared in a Taco Bell commercial.
So, who was it?
Devontae Adams.
Oh.
I will say this though, just because I feel this is a fair bit interesting. I feel like we need to have a bit of a discussion about Miami, mostly just because this is a good transition into this. They're done. Their season's over.
I can agree with that.
If Tim Boyle is starting next week, that's like the uninitiated bye week defenses. You can put in your third stringers and they'd still have 2 interceptions on the day.
I'm gonna watch Tennessee versus Miami over the Seahawks and Lions because this is gonna be like sicko league football. Like, oh my god, people paid money to see this disaster unfold on TV, and it is just this. I don't know why Tennessee and Miami isn't the sicko committee game of the week, but
I was talking about the Dolphins and Seahawks, but okay.
Yeah, I know. I was leading to that. But Seahawks fan here. Yeah, we're a bunch of lucky guys, aren't we?
You're not
Because-
lucky. You're going to win your division and you're going to
Taegan,
like it.
Listen to me. We are the luckiest team probably on the planet right now. This team is 3-0 and is yet to be really tested. We haven't been tested. It has been an absolute breeze to start so far. Like, I don't even remember who we played the Broncos starting Bo Nix in his first career game, to where we have had the most imploding first half that I've seen, and we all wake up and realize, oh, hey, Kenneth Walker's pretty good at this football thing. Let's lean into him more. And, oh, would you look at that? You win games when you do that. Wow! You go up against New England. A team that is sure scrappy, but they're gonna be in the tank bowl, man. We played Miami Dolphins without Tua Tagovailoa. Like, come on. We haven't been tested yet, right? Our O-line is ranked 31st in the league, man. 31st. Aiden
Below
Hutchinson
them.
will have his way with the Seahawks. He just will. This isn't a hot take.
I'm just curious. Who is ranked below the Seahawks?
The Bears.
Figured.
The Bears, I think.
I'm gonna say this now, and like, I'm just gonna be real. The Seahawks will probably be 7-0, and then they'll go up against Buffalo. I think they'll beat Detroit. The Giants are a joke. The 49ers, in my opinion, are the most
This is without CMC too.
What happened to Purdy? He doesn't look that good anymore.
It's
I
not.
keep on telling everyone when you go
Okay.
for
No.
We'll get to this. We'll get to this. We will get to this.
Yeah.
We will get to this.
Well,
But
let's
here's the thing. The Seahawks, they've done what they've needed to do. Has it been against easy opponents? Yeah, it's been against easy opponents. But you want to know something? They're doing what they got to do. But you're 3-0, and you made it look easy. That's exactly what you need to do. And this Lions game, gonna be a big test for Seattle. Gonna be a big test on the road against the Lions. Granted, Seahawks have had a very good history against the Detroit Lions. They have really been good against beating the Lions, and we'll say Monday Night Football would be a perfect test for this new coaching regime of, McDonald and all that to really show that, hey, we can keep those trends going. We can keep these trends going.
Speaking of Lions, Lions-Cardinals, that was a game where Detroit did not impress me at all, and the Cardinals somehow impressed me.
I mean, Cardinals, I feel like the defense didn't play bad for them. I mean, Goff had a pretty okay game. I mean, it was better than his Buccaneers game for sure. That was way better than that game. But run game definitely powered the way for Detroit. Montgomery and Gibbs both had very, very strong games. Cardinals didn't play bad overall. As I said, defense played a fine enough game. We'll say, only thing that didn't really go right for them today was Kyler Murray didn't exactly have a strong game. Didn't really have a strong game. That was kind of the reason Cardinals just couldn't beat the Lions. But not a bad performance for the Cardinals. And Lions, you're 2-1. Good for you.
I'm just gonna be real. I think the Lions are just 9-8, 10-7 bound. This team screams like they're going to go down that path because Jared Goff has not played anywhere near where he played last year. And it goes back to my little theory. Jared Goff is only good when he has to get that contract. And once he gets that contract, he disappears.
9-8, I disagree with, but 10-7, that's possible. Like that's possible, especially with how the Packers and Vikings look right now.
I think Detroit has one of the most brutal schedules going down the stretch for the rest of the season. I mean, like, think about it this week. The Seahawks are basically your matchup check for most of the time. After that, you have your bye week this early. Like week 5 bye weeks are torrid. They're bad. And then after this stretch, they have Dallas, they have Minnesota, they have the Titans, they have Green Bay, they have the Texans, they have the Jags. And it's just, not to mention, look at their last 6 games. They have the Bears on Thanksgiving, Green Bay on Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills, then at at the Bears, then at the Niners, and then they have to finish off against Minnesota. That is one of the most brutal 6-game stretches of football I have seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tough schedule here. This Monday game against the Seahawks gonna be a great showing for both teams. Let's see what seeing what they both got, knowing the history of how the Seahawks have played very well against the Lions, and also the Lions are debuting their new uniforms on Monday Night Football, the black uniforms.
Mhm.
They look clean.
Yeah, it looks
They
sweet.
do.
Well, moving on to a game that despite the score, everyone knew the game was over by halftime. Ravens Cowboys. I was not worried at all at any point during this game the Cowboys were going to somehow take the lead. Mike McCarthy needs to be fired. He is not a good football coach. And CeeDee Lamb, I would have gotten out of Dallas by now.
Yeah, but if someone gives you $38 million, I'd be like, sure, you senile grandpa, sure.
Sure, take senile Jerry's money. I mean, I think that summed it up well with the Cowboys. Ravens, God, you're weird. Why can you guys not be normal?
They'll never be normal.
The Ravens are the Ravens. They'll just
I mean,
do whatever they want.
That's true. I mean, great thing for the Ravens, though, was Derrick Henry did have an excellent game. So that was really all you needed, just to pull away in the first half and basically just, sleepwalk your way until the clock hit 0. But yeah, there's Ravens, you're definitely not a normal football team.
Whee! Why can't you just be
Anywho.
normal?
Anywho, speaking about unnormal football teams, the San Francisco 49ers. I love doing victory laps around this team because I'm so goddamn right about them.
Brock Purdy's
I love being so.
Taegan expects Brock Purdy to throw for 4 billion yards, throw for 4 billion touchdowns. If he doesn't do that, guys, he's mid.
Nah.
No, Taegan wants the absolute universe from Brock Purdy. Like, dude.
You want to put expectations on him? I'm gonna put expectations on him. You want me to think that he's a top 10 quarterback? He needs to perform like one.
This is not the week for this, though. Like, I understand how bad the 49ers collapse in the fourth quarter was, mainly because, well, you couldn't hit field goal, you couldn't take advantage of, frickin' the opportunity that was given to you, and also your special teams let up a pretty strong return, and the Rams basically had the easiest time possible getting into position to hit a game-winning field goal. Here's the thing, I thought Purdy played well. This is not the game for me to go out there and say, oh yeah, Purdy, this is why he needs all that talent to save him all the time. Like, it is not Brock Purdy's fault that Ronnie Bell dropped a surefire catch. It is not Brock Purdy's fault that the 49ers defense completely crumbled to end the game.
Let's not
And it's
forget
not
that.
Brock Purdy's fault that Jake Moody missed the kick that he's supposed to make. Granted, it was from 50 plus, but at the same time, you're supposed to make those kicks, Jake, especially in the clutch.
On top of that, too, wasn't Brandon Ayuk who got paid the big bucks? Don't you need to make those kinds of catches?
Ayuk too. He's
like this was the one game where if there's any player on the 49ers that I will harp on, it is Brandon Ayuk, who made the most pointless, dramatic saga about a contract extension that I have ever seen and never want to witness again. Like, you thought that you were worth wide receiver 1 money. You're paid more money per year than Deebo Samuel. You have to catch those balls. Justin Jefferson catches those stuff. Brian, no, it's CeeDee Lamb catches those stuff. Jamar Chase is going to be catching those stuff when he gets his big boy contract. Like, right, Deebo Samuel would have made that catch. Right? And again, it's one of the things that I have said about the 49ers is that without Deebo Samuel on this offense, and he's probably one of the best Swiss Army knives for that San Francisco has, when you force guys like Ayuk, this team is not really going to go anywhere. Now, is that Brock Purdy's fault? No. He's doing with what the best he has. I'm not expecting him to literally beat Patrick Mahomes, but he did fine. He did fine. He did what he had to do. If there's ever a week for him to harp on is when he goes into Seattle and tosses a dud. Only then will I say, you know what? Hey, you got a point. You got something. But right now,
Like, the Vikings game was worth scrutinizing. That
Yeah,
absolutely worth scrutinizing.
100%.
This game, though, it's like, come on, dude. Like, this was not the game to be doing that kind of shit, especially with how badly the 49ers defense and their receiving core outside of Juwan Jennings completely dropped the ball. I mean, you mentioned
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk, and what I'll say is, with Brandon Ayuk, it's like, this is the kind of stuff that got him not so great, reputation of, like, dropping footballs in, like, his first 2 seasons. And granted, that was something he did change around 2022 and going beyond that, but in a game where it's like, hey, we need you to step up, this is the game where you need to step up, and, well, you didn't do that. Now, I will say, I will give Taegan the benefit of the doubt on this point. If Brock Purdy has a sluggish game against, let's say, the Patriots this week, then yeah, you have the right to say what you want. I think that's more than understandable. I think if he has a sluggish game against New England, then yeah, perfectly understandable there. That would be worth getting your slander points on a former Iowa State quarterback.
Look, I'm just saying this in general. I think the idea that Brock Purdy is a great quarterback is just something that cannot exist in my head. Brock Purdy, I think, is a guy that is serviceable at best, but can be replaced.
no,
Granted, I'm still going to say this. I will agree with the fact that moving off of Trey Lance is the better idea at that time, because Brock Purdy had a good hot start for a minute, and I won't take that away from him. However, I feel he gets defended way too much, despite the fact he is surrounded by one of the most talented rosters in the NFL.
Bro really thinks a quarterback to be great needs to be successful with dog shit players. Patrick Mahomes had one point the fastest wide receiver in football. Travis Kelce, and one of the greatest head coaches, phenomenal running backs. Patrick Mahomes, guys, he's washed, he's overrated. Dude's garbage because he is surrounded by talent. He is surrounded by talent. He's, by your logic, Taegan, by the definition of your logic, he is garbage. And this is the dumbest argument. You want to surround Taegan, you want to surround your quarterback with talent. You can't have guys do it on your own, and it is exhausting, right? He's fine. End of the Niners conversation. Moving on to Sunday Night Football. Falcons, Chiefs. Man, I don't know if I think how soon do you think before we start to see Michael Penix start for the Vikings? The Falcons. Sorry, Falcons.
I'll give it more time, but wasn't a great game from Kirk, that's for sure. I definitely think. I mean, there was that. There was the questionable no call. I know about that, but also I feel like some of the play calling late in the fourth quarter for the Falcons was definitely not the best. Not the best from them. Um, I mean, it was a good fight from the Falcons, but at the same time, it just figured like, okay, you know what, the Chiefs are gonna find a way to hang on to this, aren't they? And sure enough, they did. We'll say Patrick Mahomes has still, I did 3 games. He could absolutely play a great game this upcoming week, but Mahomes hasn't looked great to start the year. I think we can agree on that. He hasn't
Yeah.
looked great to start the season.
Yeah. But like if you really think like all the games that the Kansas City Chiefs have played, they've won ugly. Like pretty ugly. It
Yeah.
hasn't been convincing, and I mean it's something that I at the same time something I really you can't really take away from them because they've won. Like last year was like they were winning still very ugly, but they still won the Super Bowl. Baby. Ugly. Like Chiefs know how to keep a game close, and they're more like the opposite to like the Carolina Panthers, where like say sorry my bad, the Dallas Cowboys, where if you play against the Dallas Cowboys and you go up like 17-0, the Cowboys have a hard time really coming back and making it a game, whereas I think if the Chiefs were to go down 14-0, it just in the ugliest way, in the weirdest series of events, they'll crawl back in, they will fight for every yard and find a way to win the game. Off of everybody's favorite kicker, Harrison, go make me a sandwich, Bucker.
Look, I'm just saying this. Every single Chiefs game just blends into me now. I am not surprised nor shocked at any outcome when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs until they lose a game to, like, I don't know, the Tennessee Titans by like 40.
That
Until
implies
that
the
happens.
Titans win a football game.
Yeah, that wouldn't also imply that. But like, I'm just gonna be honest. The Kansas City Chiefs does not surprise me what they're going to do. They could win. They're going to either win their game by 3 or they're going to lose their game by like 7. They are genuinely the most. I'd say this not as like a mean thing, but they are the most bland football team I have ever seen.
I don't. Here's the thing. I actually kind of agree with that. Not to the point where it's like I know the Chiefs are winning. It's more just the fact that like this goes back to last season. The Chiefs just haven't been as fun to watch, and I feel like a part of that's the fact that Mahomes hasn't been, playing as great as we've seen him play. But it feels like the Chiefs, like the Chiefs, we know what to expect from them, but it just feels like, it just feels they just haven't been like as exciting. They haven't been playing as exciting football as we've seen with Patrick Mahomes, and it's like, look, I know that over time, seeing the same team win gets, boring. It gets boring eventually, and that's just natural. That's just the way things go. It's like you're just tired of seeing the same damn team win over and over again. It's what happened with the Patriots. But I just feel like a big reason it's gotten more annoying for me is just the fact that the Chiefs just haven't been as fun to watch. Like they're playing a lot more ugly football, and that's not what I want to see from the Chiefs. Like if the Chiefs are gonna win, I want to see high scoring affairs and all that. Like that's one of the things that made the Chiefs so fun to begin with Patrick Mahomes. It just feels like with Mahomes looking off, like it just feels like the Chiefs are, they're winning all the time, but it also, given it's a lot uglier, it just feels like, it feels a lot more like some of the ugly games that the New England Patriots would win all the time with Tom Brady. And, And over time, the more and more you see that, the more and more you can't help that just feels bland.
Well, not to mention too, like I think this isn't even a hot take to say, but Mahomes has been a bizarrely he has played bizarrely below his play level as of recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could probably name 5 QBs right now that have looked a lot better than him right now.
Yeah,
Anything after that's kind of crazy,
I
but
can
like
start right now. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Carson Beck, Jalen Milrow, and Roger. No, who? The fuck it, DG Ungole.
I mean, I'm just like in terms of NFL quarterbacks though, like Sam Darnold's been better than him.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Darnold's on a Linsanity run of all ages. Josh Allen's been better than him. Baker Mayfield's been better than him.
Yep.
Fuck, even Kyler Murray's been better than him. And like you could even argue that Joe Burrow, despite his record right now, has played better than him. He has been a relatively just their quarterback. And
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
weird.
I think it's mostly just because I just think that Mahomes is I'm not saying he's washed, but I feel like he doesn't even have to try anymore. Like he
Yeah.
knows that he can just do whatever he wants because his defense is built to the T. It's
Mhm.
just and like this isn't disrespect or anything, but like the fact of the matter is the Chiefs are just now boring to watch. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it's not what I wanted to see from, if even if the Chiefs are gonna keep winning and be the new Patriots of the league. It's like, they were more exciting to watch, and now it's like, well, now you're not getting that. And that sucks to see. And I think it's time to ask because yes, it's only been 3 games, but where the hell is Kelsey?
Yeah. Well,
Probably.
He's too busy making cereals.
I mean, here's my thing. I want to say too. Like, isn't it? I feel like a lot of tight end play is just down this season.
Unless you're Brock Bowers. If you're Brock Bowers, you are basically the best tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Like Sam Laporta hasn't been particularly good. Like even just look at fantasy football right now. There hasn't.
Komet
There
had a
has.
good game last week, but he's been asked to begin.
I mean, same with like Dallas Goddard. Like he did nothing the first 2 weeks, and then had an excellent game against the Saints.
Dalton Schultz, Kyle Pitts, TJ Hawkinson's been hurt. It's been a down year for tight ends. It happens. It's just this is a kind of year where honestly, if you told me that Brock Bowers would be the best tight end by the end of the year, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But honestly, the lack of production from tight ends is honestly more shocking to me than like, passing yard numbers going down. Because I feel like in like, a more like grittier, style of play that we're seeing, I feel like tight ends would probably benefit from that. But no, they really haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But well,
Offense has been down all year anyway, though.
That is very true.
okay. I just saw this on my page and I gotta transition to this. I'm gonna be honest. If I had to give a song to describe the Jacksonville Jaguars, it would be Wagwang Delilah. That's how incredibly dog shit they've been.
So, can we agree? Can we agree that if the Jaguars lose this game to the Houston Texans this week, Doug Peterson's getting fired.
Don't even have to even ask that question. The answer is yes.
I don't get Doug, man. He always starts out with a new team excellently, and then somehow, as his tenure goes on, he gets worse and worse. Same thing happened with the Eagles. Started out with a Super Bowl win, and ended up with a 4-win season that got him canned.
Yep. And it's just I made this prediction, like, I had a feeling, like, watching how the Jaguars were playing and seeing their schedule, it's like, yeah, Doug Peterson's gonna be the first head coach fired this season, isn't he? And then watching that Bills game, it's like, okay, maybe I should speed it up to he's not making it out of September, because holy hell, that game was horrific, Jacksonville. Your defense completely gave up, and your offense is fundamentally broken right now. Trevor Lawrence looks terrible. He looks awful through 3 games to start this season. What the hell has happened to him? But at the same time, I ask myself that, and it's like, oh yeah, this offense is just fundamentally broken. Like, Christian Kirk, outside of like a couple catches in the first quarter, he's been a ghost this season. Like, Travis Etienne hasn't exactly played up to his level, and is Evan Ingram hurt?
Yep.
Okay, yep, that's also leads to the offense looking more broken. And your O-line is terrible right now. It's just the offense is so fundamentally bad. It hurts to watch. Like, it's broken. The play calling is terrible. There is a reason Jaguars fans were so keen on wanting Press Taylor fired last season. And honestly, that's probably going to be what's costing Doug Peterson his job, because Press Taylor fucking sucks at calling plays. And Doug Peterson refuses to do anything about it, and that's going to be what gets him fired alongside with him. And my God, like, good lord, this game was so disastrous for Jacksonville. It's just, like, I mean, we know Peterson and Taylor aren't going to make it, but I also think Trent Baalke needs to go with them. I think we can agree on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Trent Baalke sucks at drafting. He's made probably the biggest blunder that I have ever seen in a coach, in a GM. Like, passing up on Aiden Hutchinson looks like one of the worst moves that a GM has ever made in a long time since, well, then Carolina's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so they can thank Carolina for that, but, like, it's just, I just wonder, like, or, like, after what happens with this coaching staff, like, what does Jacksonville do? Because Trevor Lawrence he looks bad. He looks bad right now. He looks like he just looks broken out there.
Oh boy. Oh boy. There is broken, and then there is super broken.
Like, when your completion percentage is barely above 50%, that's bad. That's really bad.
Mm-hmm. That is beyond horrifying.
And I mean, credit to the Bills. They played an excellent game, and I think I get the feeling we can agree on this, that Josh Allen right now is the MVP favorite. I mean, Josh Allen, that was probably one of the best games he's ever played, and knowing Josh Allen, that's saying something. But, man, the Jaguars played so bad that Mitch Trubisky was getting snaps out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking, let's get to a more exciting game, so that way we all don't fall asleep. Commanders, Bengals. For the Bengals, yikes! 0-3 is not good. However, on the other side, the Commanders, I might, if they keep on playing like they should be, Dan Quinn could take this team to the playoffs.
How is Diet Justin Fields?
you know what? He may run a college offense, but it doesn't matter what kind of offense he runs if he keeps on doing well.
If you win football games, well, you win football games,
Yeah,
which is
and
something Mike Sirianni somehow keeps doing.
yeah, I'm just really hoping. I'm really hoping, for the sake of not just Daniels but also Washington fans, please don't let Jaden Daniels get RG3 because he was so exciting to watch in this game. Like, that was an incredible game from Jaden Daniels. And it's like, hey, those are the kind of performances he had last year at LSU that won him the Heisman. Those are the exact kind of performances he had. And just, I mean, there were no punts in this game. Like, it was just all offense from both teams, and Washington just completely tore to shreds the Bengals defense. Like, I feel like the Bengals defense and how bad they played is honestly more shocking to me than the fact that they're 0-3. Because that was just horrible. They just got cooked on every single drive out there.
The Bengals defense is hashtag not good.
Yeah.
It really says that, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow, I thought played a great game. It just did not matter because the Bengals defense could not stop a single thing if their lives depended on it. And no matter what Joe Burrow could do, Commanders' offense was always going to be one step ahead.
Man, I'm getting sick of how many times the Bengals always have a slow start. This is the third year in the Zach Taylor era where this happens. They always just stumble out of the gate, whether it's offense or defense or special teams or something else. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's so tiring now. It really is.
I'm so done with the Bengals, man. Like, it's incredible to know that Mike Brown has ruined a team that most franchises would kill for right now. Right? They peaked. It's like Gohan when he fought Cell. And to quote one of my favorite lines in the Dragon Ball Z Bridge series, where Piccolo puts his hand on Gohan, you peaked. But I do get better. Yeah. But, like, no. Everybody else gets bigger. Sorry, everybody else gets better. You end up cutting key player. You end up letting key players walk in free agency because you don't want to pay them. Like, they peaked. You're never going to make the Super Bowl again. We're going to see, Joe Burrow become the new modern Dan Marino.
Yeah, I mean, it pisses me off a lot. I feel like the fact that the Bengals lost that game with how well Burrow played honestly pisses me off more than the fact that they're 0-3, because it's like, damn, like, what do you want Burrow to do there? Like, that was just, like, there were no punts in that game. Like, what else is he supposed to do there? I mean, I know Jaden Daniels was excellent, as I already mentioned, and he, like, that Washington offense, like, call it as Taegan noted, call it a college offense all you want. It works. And the Bengals learned that firsthand, which is why you don't talk shit before the game.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just gotta say this. Commanders, I like what you're doing. Keep it up. I think you could be this year's Green Bay Packers. You could be. I can see it. But you gotta start winning more games if you want to keep on holding up to this standard that I set you to.
Yeah, there's better expectations on the Commanders. I want to see more chemistry built between him and Terry McLaurin. Oh, it's Scary Terry. Scary Terry and Diet Justin Fields.
I mean, I will say Terry did have that great touchdown, and I'm pretty sure I'm now thinking like, okay, I think Terry McLaurin got off to a slow start because because he did not know how to feel about the fact that he was getting to play with Jaden Daniels. It's like, oh, hey, this guy can actually play quarterback. Sweet. I've never known how that's supposed to feel.
Guys, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to catch these? Am I supposed to catch a ball that's like thrown on target? That's so weird. I never had to do that before. So I like what Jalen Daniels has done. So Jaden Daniels, his brother's Jalen Daniels, and he's playing at Kansas. I really like what he has done, and football is better. I'm sorry, guys, with players like him playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that might do it for us today.
Yeah.
But a hurricane of suck is coming through us right now.
Mm-hmm. It's we've all worked long hours. But hey, we'll be back next Friday for some more fun football action. Don't forget to.
And Spencer will be back next Friday.
Oh
One last thing
yeah.
before we head off for the night, though. Shohei Ohtani is just 3 batting average points away from potentially getting a triple crown.
We are all not worthy of his baseball prowess. We are all not worthy.
Should have been a Chicago Cub.
We should have come to Seattle.
Mhm.
We should have come to see. Good Lord. Man, the Dodgers fans are going to be feasting for a while. Now go win a ring. I'm so happy Shohei Ohtani is going to be in the playoffs. He deserves it so much. He deserves it so much with toiling in years in mediocrity and the Angels. And not to mention now without Shohei Ohtani, the Angels are never going to win over 70 games ever again. That's how much Shohei Ohtani was carrying that franchise. Dude was giving them 15 extra wins, and they still couldn't couldn't give him enough support to make him a playoff team.
Or a winning team for that matter.
Yeah.
Did the Angels ever have a winning record with Ohtani?
I
don't
think they have, but it was they were 84 and 80 or something like that.
Hold on, I'm looking. Let's see. Did they ever with Ohtani? No, they never had a winning season with him.
What?
That is.
Oh my god, they never even had a winning season. Closest they came was 80 and 82.
Artie Moreno's legacy, folks.
Yep. Let's remove all bad baseball owners. Seriously. We need to do that for the sake of our sanity. Baseball's a dying breed. If there's gonna be bad baseball owners, good talented baseball players, take your talents to Japan. That is a baseball market that deserves way more attention than it gets. It needs way more attention. Because those are people that are so passionate about baseball.
Oh, we also have some other news. Shohei Ohtani is one more home run away from going from a 50-50 to a 55-55.
Oh my god. He's gonna hit it too, man.
He's got 2 more games.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow everybody on their social media platforms. And check out also other videos that is done on the Untitled Sickos Project. I'll sure to have a heartfelt video about how I feel about the Seattle Mariners because another year.
Bro's in an abusive relationship.
I'm in 2 abusive relationships. I'm a Maple Leafs fan too, man.
Bro. I'll say something nice at your eulogy.
Thanks.
Hey, look on the bright side. You get free content from this.
I
get
do.
To make free content.
I do. And then I get to, skip my way into the dungeon and go, oh no, Nick, I have another video for you to edit. Something like that. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Take care and have yourselves a good one.
Good night.
Have a good